we'll move on to the next segment where we talk about our schedule. You want to take us through the schedule and see what's on the horizon?
Yeah, look,
what's your top three best schedules?
Well, I mean, I am still following the likes of Crystal Palace and Everton, which I've been sort of on their sort of path for the last, almost from game week 1.
Crystal Palace finally paid dividends for you, didn't they?
Yeah. So I'm
they
not
have
moving.
made a lot of moves, so I understand what you do. You know, one, they've bolstered the team. Two, they have favourable schedules, so it doesn't make sense to buy into them. But you waited for 4 game weeks. That's a very impressive wait.
Yeah, well,
I think a lot of people would have played the wild card by now.
Yeah, it was. I contemplated moving on from it until they bought Benteke.
Yeah.
They buy, and I've said it since game week 1. They need a striker. They need a target man that can help the midfields find a target and then pick up assists and then create chances themselves. So when I saw he was moving across there, I was very happy to keep with my strategy. They've still got a couple more weeks in their solid schedule, so I'm still highlighting them. Everton as well. Palace, Middlesbrough, Bournemouth in the next 3. I'm all over that schedule, so Everton for sure.
Yeah, I do like Everton's schedule.
And I guess a little bit more of a long-term one, not so much of a long-term one, but they've got United this weekend, and we spoke about it earlier, but Watford, they go after Man United, they go Burnley, Bournemouth, Middlesbrough, Swansea, Hull City. So that for me is and you've got a couple of fairly cheap players that you can kind of move around from that lineup from Watford, and
it may be worth bringing in the likes of Troy Deeney in attack. I mean, it's not that expensive, but
you could name 4 or 5 guys at very low prices. So I'd be selecting Watford in the transfer and just having a look through some players there. Obviously, Caputo stands out. He's the headliner.
I wouldn't go any of defenders
or
or keeper, because they have conceded the most. They've conceded in every game.
Yeah, well, they've conceded 8 goals in 4 games, so.
I think that says enough.
They've just been scoring enough in a couple of the occasions.
They're attacking. These attacking, lower level teams are really good because they give you great fantasy options, and they make you sweat as well at the same time.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I do. That's a good one. I didn't consider Watford. How about the Spurs? I looked at the Spurs schedule, and the next 2 games they've got Sunderland and Middlesbrough.
Yeah, the next 2
before they play Man City.
Look, they're 2 pretty good games for them. Certainly not a bad schedule, and really it's split up. So they've got 2 soft games. Well, it's the Premier League, so there's no real soft games, but it's split up. They go 2, then Man City. 2, and then go Leicester, Arsenal. So they, in 5 games, I've got Man City and 4 games in that schedule. So definitely a team to keep an eye out on, and one of the reasons that I've kept Eriksen through his slow start.
It's for this.
It's for this 2 games.
You at least keep him until Man City.
Yeah, that's correct.
And by that time, you never know. Other teams will have favourable schedules coming up, and that you can do a straight swap because he's a reasonably priced midfielder. All right, so you've still got Everton, Crystal Palace, Watford, Spurs. How about the Gunners? You're not feeling that?
Well,
they do. They have Chelsea.
Yeah, so
aside from Chelsea, they've got Hull next week. Chelsea, then they've got Burnley, Swansea and Middlesbrough. Yeah,
and I like that schedule, and that's why I'm leaning towards an Arsenal midfielder to replace Martial. So yeah, that's another question.
Unfortunately, Arsenal seem to be not finding their foot. I think after the previous game week with Sanchez's performance at midfield, I thought it was a slow start, and they finally found their feet, but it doesn't seem to be this. I think the international break didn't help. Obviously, Sanchez came back late on the Friday, but it remains to be seen.
And probably another team to highlight that some people will find as a pretty good schedule, but I'm leaning against it, is West Ham. They've not been the team of last year, and they have if you think they can bounce back to form, then they've got a pretty good schedule over they've got a long schedule of good games.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't play a top tier team till say game week 12, which is the Spurs. So that's a really good run, but I'm just not sold. I think they've conceded the most goals in the league.
After what happened last week.
Yeah, so I'm leaning against them. That's a really good schedule. So if you think that they can bounce back shortly, then
I definitely think they will give you some returns. Antonio, they haven't been doing well, like you said. They've conceded the most goals, but he's the second highest point scorer. The other team that has conceded goals in every game, Watford, has the person who's given the most points.
Yeah.
So there seems
Two
to be some
attacking
kind of
players.
trend. Seems to be a trend.
You wouldn't have any of their defenders, but
No,
you might be pulling their sort of attacking players in, because they have shown an ability to score goals.
Without a doubt.
They just concede a lot, so yeah.
I agree, and I think balancing your schedule with good players can be a fine thing to do. Obviously, for example, you have Capoe, who we agree is like a must to get now, especially at his price, regardless of how he performs going forward. And having him on the bench, so you saw the schedule and you're like, oh, maybe I don't know, but I think it's really making those decisions because every point matters. I mean, I scored 23 points this week, and I've just fallen out from the 6. I can't give Drake a shout out either. I'm quite disappointed about that.
Yeah.
And now I'm close to the top 30. I know I'll bounce back, but I think managing the schedule and the players to watch, which leads us to the final segment of the video.
Yep.
The most important decision you can make every week.
And for me, the easiest decision.
The easiest
right now. Well, right now, no Aguero. Aguero's injured, so I would suggest you should have Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
He's scoring goals like he's 21 again. He's got a new lease on life. They've got Watford away, who, as I said, have conceded 8 goals. So I'm going to do what I've been doing since the start, and I'm going to be making Ibrahimovic my captain.
It's automatic, isn't it?
If he's in your lineup and you don't also have Aguero because he's out, there's no other player that I would be more confident in being the captain than him. There's many other options.
No Champions League either.
No Champions League. So I'm likely to have him as captain. Until something changes in the meantime. If he keeps scoring goals, I'm happy to keep it as it is. I mean, Lukaku scores a hat trick, and I still was relatively happy with Ibrahimovic being the captain. So for me, it's
Lukaku captain and Capoe. Would that have been 100 points?
Oh, yeah, it would have been. Yeah,
without a wild card or bench boost. That's incredible. Well, I think let's not get greedy.
No.
I know you're very happy with your points.
I am.
I just keep pointing these things out to
make
myself feel better.
Yeah. Well,
because there's nothing I could have done.
No. Well, you could have saved 4 points.
Yeah, but that was planned.
Sure.
That was planned.
Right.
I think I'll get it back. So Zlatan's your go-to guy, captaincy.
100%.
Followed by Lukaku.
Yeah, I'm still having Lukaku in my lineup, but yeah, no, I'm Everton play Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Certainly, if you don't have Ibrahimovic, Lukaku, I'd 100%. Firstly, if you don't have Ibrahimovic, I'd be asking why, and I'd be making a move to get Ibrahimovic. But if you don't, and you have someone like Lukaku, he almost is a no-brainer at home in Middlesbrough. But there's probably 3 or 4 other guys. Aside from Ibrahimovic, I think it's a fairly tough decision. I'm
gonna go with someone who hasn't been on top of anyone's captain list so far this season.
Right.
And I'm gonna say it's Harry Kane.
Oh.
They're at home to bottom placed Sunderland.
Mm-hmm.
He scored a goal finally, and his lucky charm Dembele is back.
Right.
From suspension.
Interesting.
So I am going to...
Is he even in your lineup?
No. Well, this is for the people.
Okay, right. So if you had, right.
If you have Harry Kane or you already have a Zlatan or Lukaku, and you're looking into bringing another person, I would say this week bring in Harry Kane.
If you have Ibrahimovic and Harry Kane as your top two strikers, who are you making captain?
I think it depends how I feel.
You've thought about it too long.
I think the best choice to make is to go with Zlatan, but I would go with Harry Kane.
It's the less risky because 80% of the world is going with Ibrahimovic as captain. So,
but if you have gone from the top 6 to the top 29, and you want to come back, you have to go.
But this is the problem with that theory, is that you keep doing things like that and stop doing what's probably the most likely, then you get further behind.
Exactly, and I think this week the reason why that's such an interesting choice is, again, I think Lukaku is great as well. Zlatan is playing Watford, who've conceded a lot of goals. Sunderland are dead last, and Spurs had a great game, so it is a tough one. I think Zlatan would be a better choice, but I don't think Harry Kane would be that bad an option.
Yeah, look, personally, I think aside from Ibrahimovic,
but I think if we were to take a poll of everyone who's going, everyone would say Zlatan. I think Zlatan would be the consensus. Obviously, you might want to put Costa. I see a hat trick coming this week.
Yeah, aside from Ibrahimovic, depending on what you've done, do you have your high-priced midfield with like Sanchez?
I don't think. I know Arsenal are way too high, but I'm not going to put Sanchez as my captain.
Yeah,
because he's had a big game, and then he's had a blank. I just need a bit of consistency. Now this is why Zlatan's a great choice, because he's scoring every goal every game. This is why I've thrown in Harry Kane, because he's finally scored and his lucky chance back. Lukaku could potentially be captain choice. He's got a favourable run of fixtures coming, so that's also another something to think about. I certainly won't make Kapoya captain against Man United.
No,
even if he scores,
he might score 4, but
he might score a goal. But yeah,
he's only barely in the conversation to start over.
Exactly. I think you have to bring him into your team, but putting him as captain would be too risky a move.
Yeah, you'd have to be a Watford maniac to do that.
If someone who's done that, then they've obviously done
well. They benefited from it, sure, but it's likely that he will start.
What do you think of Hazard or Costa as captain?
Oh, not against the best team in the league, no.
Not against the best team in the league?
No, look, it might be a 5-4 win, though, to Liverpool, and they might, players like, Liverpool have leaked goals all season, so I say no, but because it's a tough fixture. However, if you look at the stats, Liverpool are leaking goals, like significant numbers of goals.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you score 4 goals and you win by 4-3, especially being up 4-1, it doesn't look good. And I think that game against Arsenal, even though you won, it set a bad precedent for the team, and the next 2 games after that really showed.
Yeah. And even 4-1 victory against Leicester, there's still a defensive mishap that led to a goal.
But you'd leave that, obviously if the win against Arsenal was 4-1, a lot of conversations we've had and a lot of discussions would have happened. But because of that set that precedent, and now the same thing has happened again, so you're always on edge.
Yeah.
You're not satisfied even though it was a 4-1 one.
Yeah.
They
conceded bad goal. Yeah.
Now you've got a team like Chelsea coming who don't need many chances to score. Maybe they did have a 2-2 draw. But I don't think, I'm not taking away, I'm not saying Chelsea did bad, but because I don't want to take away from Swansea. They played exceptionally well to score 2 goals. And
should have won.
Exactly.
Really?
So I think that's a testament to how great a league the Premier League is. Obviously if we were doing this for the La Liga, which is interesting to watch, but everyone would have 3 Barcelona players. Everyone would have 3 Madrid players. Yeah, so you get 6 guaranteed. Right now, not many people have 3, because 1, it's hard to afford. 2, there's so many options everywhere else. Yeah. So final word?
Look, I think Liverpool will be winning
The title.
the title,
Stage.
and then doing the Champions League double. So, but no, look, I'm actually
next season.
yeah, I'm talking about Champions League next season.
Right.
That well, unless they win so many games that the Champions League have no choice but to include them this season, and maybe that happens.
Yeah.
But no, look, I'm really excited to see Chelsea, Liverpool. We get to play them. You know, we're bouncing off a really good victory. Chelsea are fairly lucky 1 point. To be fair, I thought Swansea should have probably gone close to winning that game. And I think we've got them at the time that you want to be playing a team like Chelsea, where they're a little strange in the sense when they're struggling, they really sort of struggle, don't they? So I'm happy to be playing them this week, and hopefully we can get 3 points and move on from there.
All right, brilliant. Well, I think with that, we'll wrap it up. There'll be the game of this week to watch. It'll be the most interesting game. Let's see how that goes. Other than that, that's a wrap for us.
I actually don't think I have a single player from either team in my lineup, so yeah, I'll be watching closely, but not at a fantasy perspective. So
I think you should definitely have one. At least have a Liverpool player.
No. Well, just to make the game interesting to watch, yeah, maybe you're right, but I'll find it interesting enough to watch a Liverpool-Chelsea matchup without any.
I'll give you a tip. Go for a Liverpool defender.
That's one thing I won't be doing at all throughout this season. So yeah, you couldn't talk me into that.
All right. Well, with that's a wrap. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to like, comment, share, feel free to do so. We're happy to communicate with you guys and give you our thoughts on fantasy football. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.